Importantly, NVIDIA is not saying we're building quantum computers. They're not. What they are saying is we're building the bridge between quantum and classical computing. And that bridge is something they can monetize today, while positioning themselves for the quantum wave of tomorrow. Now let us zoom out and see how this fits into NVIDIA's overall business and why investors should care. When quantum computing eventually moves from labs to commercial scale, the computing stack will almost certainly be hybrid. NVIDIA is positioning itself as the glue that holds that stack together. If NVQLink becomes the standard interconnect for quantum classical workloads, NVIDIA is in a very strong position. That means not just selling GPUs for AI today, but also selling the infrastructure for tomorrow's hybrid systems. Make no mistake, NVIDIA's core business right now is accelerated computing, GPUs, data centers, and AI infrastructure. The quantum announcement doesn't replace that. It complements it. Even if quantum computing takes years to fully roll out, NVIDIA's current AI business remains incredibly strong. By announcing NVQLink now, NVIDIA is signaling that it's not standing still. It's innovating ahead of the curve and building a long-term competitive moat. They're no longer just a hardware vendor. They're becoming an infrastructure architect for AI, high-performance computing, and quantum integration. This is a hedged strategy. NVIDIA isn't betting everything on quantum computing happening tomorrow. They're building options, laying the infrastructure now, while continuing to dominate AI today. For investors, this reduces the risk of long-term obsolescence while still riding the current AI boom. The bottom line is this: NVQLink isn't just a cool tech announcement. It's a strategic move in a multi-decade playbook. Now let's talk numbers. Here are some key figures from NVIDIA's second quarter of fiscal year 2025. Revenue came in at $30 billion, up 15% sequentially, and up 122% year over year. Data center revenue was $26.3 billion, up 16% from the previous quarter, and up 150% year over year. For the quarter, NVIDIA reported GAAP diluted earnings per share of 67 cents, up 12% quarter to quarter, and up 168% year over year. Non-GAAP diluted EPS was approximately 68 cents, up 152% year over year. In terms of shareholder returns, during the first half of fiscal 2025, NVIDIA returned $15.4 billion through share repurchases and cash dividends. As of the end of Q2, the company still had $7.5 billion remaining in its share repurchase authorization. In August, NVIDIA also approved an additional $50 billion buyback authorization with no expiration. A 120% year-over-year revenue increase is extraordinary for a company of this size. The data center segment now accounts for roughly 88% of total revenue and is clearly the main growth engine. Sequential growth in the 15 to 16% range remains healthy, though investors will watch closely for any slowdown. Buybacks and dividends signal that NVIDIA is not only growing rapidly, but also generating significant cash and returning value to shareholders. That said, high growth brings high expectations. Sustaining this base will be challenging. Supply chain constraints, production yields for new chips like Blackwell, competition, and regulation all remain risks. So how does this tie back to quantum? NVQLink likely won't meaningfully impact revenue in the near term. What it does do is strengthen NVIDIA's long-term narrative. It positions the company for the next structural shift in computing. If you believe that quantum AI hybrid computing is real, the financials show NVIDIA is in a very strong position to benefit from it. Now let's talk timelines. Historically, many experts have believed that truly useful quantum computing is still 10 to 15 years away. NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang has even suggested timelines of 15 to 30 years. But NVQ Link suggests that while quantum advantage may still be far off, the infrastructure race is already accelerating. The biggest hurdles for quantum computing error correction, coherence, and scaling qubits remain. NVQ Link doesn't solve those, but it does address the control and classical compute side of the stack, removing one major barrier. Even so, commercially useful quantum applications are likely still years away. For NVIDIA, the key takeaway is this: they're early. They're building the plumbing now, so when quantum finally scales, they're ready. Of course, there are risks. Adoption is not guaranteed. Quantum hardware progress could lag. The ecosystem may not fully rally around NVQ Link, and quantum computing has a long history of hype cycles and delayed timelines, with NVIDIA's valuation already pricing in strong future growth. Any slowdown either in AI demand or in long-term narratives could impact sentiment. Competition from companies like AMD and Intel, export controls, geopolitical risks, and manufacturing challenges all add additional uncertainty. In my view, the quantum timeline may still be longer than many hope. If practical quantum utility takes 10 to 15 years, investors expecting short-term gains could be disappointed. The opportunity is real, but patience will be required. Here are the key things I would personally watch going forward: order backlog and wafer supply, adoption and ecosystem traction of NVQ Link, gross and operating margins, guidance around Blackwell, GPS and data center growth, progress in quantum hardware milestones across the industry, regulatory and geopolitical developments, especially around exports. So, what's my final take? NVIDIA's NVQ Link announcement is strategically very strong. It positions the company not just for today's AI boom, but for the next wave of computing. The financials are robust, giving NVIDIA the runway to invest, innovate, and return capital to shareholders. For long-term investors with a 5 to 10-year horizon who believe in hybrid quantum AI computing, NVIDIA remains one of the most compelling names to watch. But this is not an instant quantum profit story. The wave may take time. If you found this analysis valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe to the Wealth Wisdom for more deep dives like this. Drop a comment below. Do you think quantum classical hybrid computing will be real in your lifetime? Share this video with someone who follows tech stocks or is curious about quantum computing. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one. Have you ever wondered what happens when the world's most powerful chipmaker takes a bold step into the next frontier of technology, quantum computing? Well, get ready for this, because NVIDIA just made a massive announcement that could change the future of computing as we know it. This isn't about gaming, graphics, or AI anymore. This is about merging two entire worlds of computation: the ultra-fast accelerated computing we know today, and the mind-bending quantum technology that could redefine everything from data science to cybersecurity. Welcome to the Wealth Wisdom. If you're new here, we break down the biggest stories in tech, finance, and innovation plus stock market analysis in a way that's fun, easy to follow, and worth your time. Before we dive in, please take a second to hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Help this video reach at least 500 likes. It really supports the channel and helps us keep bringing you the latest market insights. Thank you. Disclaimer: this video is for informational and educational purposes only. All data and insights discussed here are sourced from publicly available information, including company websites, press releases, investor reports, and reliable financial sources. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions. So, what exactly did NVIDIA announce? Why is everyone in the tech and investing community talking about it? And what could this mean for the future of artificial intelligence? supercomputing, and global innovation. Let's start with the headline. At its recent GTC Global Technology Conference event in Washington, D.C., NVIDIA unveiled NVQLink, an open system architecture designed to tightly integrate quantum processing units, or QPS, with NVIDIA GPS and accelerated computing. Here's what that means in plain English. Quantum computers are great at some very specific tasks, but they're not ready to operate alone for broad commercial use. They still rely heavily on classical and accelerated computing, especially GPS for things like quantum error correction, calibration, control systems, and data movement. NVQLink is designed to connect quantum systems and GPU systems with extremely high speed and very low latency. NVIDIA describes NVQLink as enabling hybrid quantum classical workflows. One key specification is GPU to QPU throughput of up to 400 gigabytes per second, with latency under 4 microseconds. This isn't just a theoretical idea. NVIDIA says NVQLink already has support from 17 QPU builder partners, 9 U.S. national laboratories, and multiple quantum controller companies. In other words, this is not a maybe someday project. It is positioned as a real stepping stone toward practical hybrid quantum systems. So why is this such massive news? Because one of the biggest challenges in quantum computing has been integrating quantum processes into real-world workflows. Error correction, classical coprocessing, and system control all require extremely high-performance classical infrastructure. NVQLink directly targets this problem. If it works as intended, it could significantly speed up the timeline for when quantum computing begins to matter commercially.